Now, I'm going to run down what the objections of others are likely to be, based on everything that's going on, the inequality, the unprecedented sacrifices and hardships that are going on, and of course the political upheaval with Black Lives Matter and everything. My online content is not self-supporting, so its political effect isn't trackable in a normal way. That's actually been known as a problem for 16 years, and it's probably going to come back, even though we've had Citizens United and McCutcheon and a few other things. That's always lurking in the background. People perceive my speech as not being balanced by taking action, and so they see that when I speak in a very neutral way and report in a very neutral way the way I do, behind the scenes, that it tends to dilute the opportunities for other groups to get group injustices resolved. That is feedback I get. Some of these are well-known problems that we covered in a couple of videos last winter back in, remember these back in November when we talked about FOSTA and COPPA, the implicit content problem, radicalization, the EU copyright directive, social credit systems. We've talked about this before. We talked about this last November and December, just before COVID became well known. Now, the typical things that might be expected of someone like me is, instead of speaking, would be taking action, protesting actively, even risking arrest, taking the same risks that other people have to take, and so being in the same boat that they are and not thinking that's above me to do that. Raising money for established causes and established nonprofits, or maybe sometimes special individuals, before I go out and do my own thing, although that sounds like a quid pro quo to me, and that's what's objectionable. Running petitions, for groups, in-person service, volunteering, which is harder for elderly people right now. It's somewhat discouraged because of COVID. And then sometimes the possibility of large give-backs, of inherited wealth or trust, that's a bit complicated with state laws, but it's conceivable, or reparations, which again are unlikely, but they could come up. I wanted to talk about how our sense of our social justice focus is very bifurcated. On the one hand, there's a lot of preoccupation with individual social creditworthiness, the idea of pay your dues or even cancel culture. But then Black Lives Matter particularly has come by and set itself up as a group whose needs supersede everything else right now. And where normal speech about issues in a normal way, even normal attention to COVID and social distancing and so forth, is seen as a diversion against minorities, and is objected to. And sometimes platforms are starting to kneel to their objections, and that's very dangerous. Then what I call the everybody's beautiful belief, the Everybody's Beautiful in Their Own Way song from 1970, I can't remember the name of the artist, but anyway, and just accounting for my own relation to that. I wasn't very competitive as a male, as a youngster, so I didn't date and get married. I wanted to be around people who were stronger than I am, and that affects what I'm attracted to, physically, but it also affects what I want, just an ordinary friendship. And the ordinary friendship is not, based on race or anything else, but even though feeling attracted might be, but ordinary friendship that I value would not be. I just wanted to say that. But in the intimate world, I would react by noticing the faults of others when demands for socialization, like dating and so forth, courting women, were made of me when I was growing up. The result was I didn't have any established intimate relationship, and no experience raising children or taking care of them, because I was an only child, and no experience having dependents. So I resist belonging to a group or somebody's insisting that I belong to one, whether I think I do or not, like the white fragility idea.